In this unit, we are supposed to cover recent world trade and investment patterns and following theories: theory of absolute advantage, theory of comparative advantage, the diamond model of national competitive advantage, and factor mobility theory. And after that, we will be discussing the governmental influence on trade and investments. Past 2 years are all about trade tensions between US and China and between many other nations who adopted protectionism and increased non-tariff barriers against each other. In the same way, China is encouraging Made in China 2025, and in 2014, India also introduced Make in India initiative. That is nothing but some steps towards protectionism. But before that, many countries were enjoying trade surplus with another nations, and now the question arises how they attain that surplus or the specialization, and how they maintain those surpluses and specialization patterns across the years. Another thing is maintaining the export baskets and give support to the particular sectors. For example, in India, you will see that our export graph is skewed to the service sector. It means that we are maintaining our trade surplus with the help of the service sector only. Otherwise, we are at large deficit. So, these all decisions are taken in the context of the national welfare, and it is possible only with the help of international trade theory based mechanism. Of international trade and investment guides us into explanation. First explanation is national level explanation, and second explanation is firm level explanation. So when it is about national level explanation, we will be able to give the answers of following questions. First question is, why do nations trade? With whom nations trade, and in which quantity or the volume nation trade? And another question is, how the nations can gain the competitive advantage. So basically these are the questions which can be answered with the help of following theories. And in the categorization of the theory, we can have two types of the theories. First one is the classical theories of international trade. And in classical theories, we name following theories. First one is mercantilism theory, absolute advantage theory, comparative advantage theory, factor proportion theory, that is also known as the Haxor-Hollin theory, and the product life cycle theory given by Vernon. And the modern theories of trade. These theories have included two possible variables, that is the government and the industrial policies. And the name of the theories are competitive advantage of nations and Porter-Diamond model. So now discussing around the classical theories of the trade. What is the need of these theories and what is the relevance of these theories? So basically we all know that in 16th century some of the countries were having large surpluses, and how they sustained those surpluses, they just relied on the exports and they minimized their imports, and basically they were exporting to the colonial countries and they were having very minimal imports from those colonies. So by the passage of time they have accumulated large amount of the gold reserves or the other currencies. So basically in that scenario, the countries who had the surplus, they were winning the game, and the countries who had the deficit in their accounts, they were losing the game. It means that scenario was based on the zero-sum game theory. In 1776, there was one economist that questioned this zero-sum game theory based scenario. And he came with the certain assumptions that the country should export only those commodities in which they have the absolute advantage, and they should import the commodities in which they have the absolute disadvantage. Theory was the transition from zero sum game to positive sum game. It means that trade is based on the specialization now. The country specializing in one commodity can export, and the country doesn't have any specialization in one commodity can import it from the another. It means that the nations who are engaged in trade are benefiting from the trade. So this is a scenario and it became popular. But with the passage of time, in 1817, one another economist, David Ricardo, came with the theory Ricardian comparative advantage theory, which says that you may have possible absolute advantage in two commodities or more than two commodities, but you need to ascertain the comparative advantage among these commodities and have to export accordingly. And after that, one another economist, Mr. Hexer, and his disciple Olin come with another theory that is known as the factor proportion theory, that says that the difference in the specialization come from the difference in the productivity and the natural resources, or we can say that difference in the factor endowments. And according to this notion, we can say that nations should export or produce the products in which they can use their abundant resources and the resources which are surplus in the country. And they should import only those commodities which have a scarcity in their country. One another theory in the classical theories of trade category, that is product life cycle theory. According to this theory, we'll be seeing the following graph. You can easily detect the different stages of the same product, that is introduction, growth, maturity and decline. It means that first of all, a product will be produced and sold in the developed countries. After that, it will move to other developed countries and developing countries. And with the passage of time, let's take 10 to 15 years, it will move to the LDCs, that is least developed nations. So, there will be one point of time when the product will be manufactured and the product will be exported from these LDCs. It means that in a span of 15 to 20 years, the stage of one product can vary from introduction to maturity in one country. And with the passage of time, especially in 1960s and 1970s, academicians came with the another notions. They have included other variables like government and the industrial policies. And they say that you have attained the specialization in the trade, and after that, how you will sustain and gain more specialization, how will you sustain your competitive advantage in coming years. So basically, the answer lies in the explanation of the competitive advantage of the nations with the help of national diamond model. This diamond model is nothing but the inclusion of four attributes along with two external variables, or the factors, we can say that. The variables are factor conditions, demand conditions, related and supporting industries, firm strategy, structure and rivalry. And besides that, they have to take into consideration Porter 5 forces, because the environment is dynamic and complex. So you have to analyze the environmental forces as well. So these are the explanations of the classical theories of trade and how these theories can guide us in explaining the national level questions. Now coming to the firm level explanations, because firm have to decide that they have to expand their operations. First of all, they expand in the domestic boundaries, but when the domestic markets become mature, they have to move to other countries. They have to internationalize. Now, they will be taking two type of the decisions. First of all, FDI based decisions, and second one is non FDI based decisions. So basically, when it is about the FDI based decisions, one example that is quite popular in present time, that is Belt Road Initiative, as China has invested in more than 70 countries. Summing up the discussion, these theories can guide the companies and the businesses to take the decisions where to invest and with whom to trade. Basically, these theories can work as a cornerstone in taking the strategic decisions.